Welcome to another Liquid Bullet Productions. This is part 3 with the one and only Jimmy Tippett Junior. Nice to see you again, Jimmy. Thanks for coming back again. I can't believe he's come back again for number 3. Jimmy, we're going to jump straight in, mates. We've had quite an interesting first part 1 and part 2. Going to go straight into, like, do you think crime pays?
Yeah, crime does pay until you get caught. But now, in the modern day society, crime doesn't pay, because when eventually you will get caught. There's too much technology out there to catch you, and obviously if we're going digital currency like they say we're going to go, it's going to make things a lot worse. I mean, London's become lawless now. Yeah, you look at the guys dragging watches off people's wrists and bits and pieces. I don't even wear a watch if I go to London now. I can't see the point. No. If I wear a watch, it goes straight in the safety deposit box, and it's. I mean, obviously, you see where I live. I live in a penthouse, which is CCTV concierge. You couldn't get in here if you tried. Beautiful view. But no, that's how I feel safe as houses as well. And listen, but no, crime doesn't pay now. But obviously, I've just had to pay a big pocker, or so it doesn't pay. I pay more on the pocker than I actually had out the crime.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a fine attached.
Yeah, so it's a fine, and I had to do the prison sentence as well. So all those,
prison sentence.
So 27 months, and so I had 130 grand.
So tell us a couple of stories of crime that you was involved in, just to catch up with.
Obviously, I was involved. Obviously, the crime that they said I nicked a ring off the internet. I've never nicked a ring off. Some society woman come to me. This designer said I nicked a ring. I had a woman come to me and said, "Oh, can you get rid of this ring?" She was like an old crackhead, like a society woman from Chelsea. I knew from years ago, partying with some porn stars and that. I said, "No, it was too tiny." I said, "No, I can't do nothing with that." Next thing you know, she's messaged me on the thing. She went, "Would you be able to get me some cash?" I said, "Look, I might be able to see something. I'm in the casino in a minute. I'll try and get you some cash." But that text message, she then went back to her daughter and said that I'd robbed the ring. And I never robbed the ring. But I had to go guilty at court, and I got 30 months. The solicitor said, if you go guilty, you're going to get a fine, because if you go not guilty, you're going to get 5 years. I went, what? But I've not even took this ring. But my mum made my mum laugh. She went, well, look at all the times you fucking have got away with things. She said, this is one you've got to take. And I thought that then it sort of led me to think, I'd written my book. Obviously, I was given a sentence because of my book. That's what my solicitor said. The barrister said, "Look, you've written a book boasting about crime, so therefore they're going to go whack you. They're going to whack you with the cosh and give you the full 9 and tails. They're going to give you the full thing they can." So I went, all right, well, whatever. I've got to take it on the chin like a man, and I did. But no, I wouldn't get involved in crime at all. And any youngsters now, I would say, look at this Andrew Tate guy guy. He set up a webcam business. Get into your computers, learn all about that sort, because there's so much money, to be made that way. I mean, look at these young stockbrokers and hedge fund guys. If I could live my life again, I wish I would have gone down a different route.
It's getting harder and harder, isn't it? Every year
listen, there's no honour amongst thieves. There never has been. That was just dressed up like it's like people get dressed up in a suit. It's you get dressed up in the character to go on stage. Yeah. Life is very different now. Look at all the cameras about. You can't walk down the road without being caught on a camera. Yeah. Your phone's got everything on it. I mean, I was talking to someone the other day about a Bentley Jeep, a Bentley Bentayga. Next thing you know, it's flashing up things for Bentley Bentayga.
I've had that before as well, yeah.
So the microphone's on the phone listening to your conversations all the time. Your 4K telly can zoom, they can turn it on and watch you in your living room. There's technology out there which is so advanced which we don't even know about.
Yeah, that's true.
So crime doesn't pay now. It did, I think, back in the day, for a lot of it. I think crime paid for my dad. I think my dad was one of the lucky ones. He never spent one day in jail, but lived an excessively lavish lifestyle down to crime.
Yeah, so there's some get away with it, some don't. But
No, and I think my dad he just broken it right. But obviously, my mum was a bookkeeper. She was my mum worked for a living. She worked for a big business. She was a very clever lady. But my mum, she always said, look, straight pound note is the best pound note you're going to ever earn, Jimmy. She said, your dad's money just gave us the beautiful holidays and the accessories.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, my mum was a straight person, so everything everything was done was down to a T with my mum.
Yeah. Have you got any stories that are funny stories that have gone wrong?
I think we should save these for another time, because you know what it is, there is that many stories. Honestly, boy, there's that many stories you just couldn't make. I remember once I met a guy in prison. He was a Canadian guy. They was taking amphetamines over in the old Daimler Jags because they had the double tanks. Filling the BMK, which was a liquid amphetamine, and they had a load of jewellery in Hatton Garden safety deposit box, and I had to get a fake passport and bits and pieces to go and get these documents. What they wanted, they said you can keep the jewellery. They needed these documents because he was in prison. It was going to save him a prison sentence. So I managed to get all the documents done up from a little firm, fake passport, fake driving licence, etc. And I had to wait there while a woman she had a sewing shop in Greenwich. She's dead now. Val, she was lovely. She used to have the old provisional the old driving licence. She used to type it on with the golf ball type. So she'd type all the lettering in. So I had to wait for her to do that. But when I would have got the stuff in that garden, I've gone down there, but I've got the bits, but the guys, I think because I was talking so fast, the guys come running back out with the driving licence, all the ink had run on the passport. He said, no. So as I got into my mate's car, my mate had been fucking about smoking. He dropped the keys out of his Range Rover onto the floor. Now I couldn't find the fucking... Now the geezer's tapping on the window, telling me to come back in the safety deposit, but I'm going to make go. It was just like fucking... it was like a carry-on, but we went up, going away, but I jumped out of the car, down at the thing, and jumped into Holborn on the... He was pulled straight away because it's like the ring is still... Even 20 years ago, it was like... 30 years ago in Hatton Garden, you've always had cameras everywhere, so you can't get away with anything down there. But they try, apart from... No one's ever got away with anything, but it's now, it's more opportunist, isn't it? They go and smash a window and and try and have their pot luck on a few bits and pieces.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where it's going.
But even diamonds are engraved now, and they can go back they're like a serial number, which goes the same as a watch. It's got like serial numbers which go back to it like a logbook.
Throughout this whole time, this life that you've led, where has it taken you today?
To be honest with you, it took me to very dark places with the drugs and relationships, and the more sort of infamous I got with the book, etc. You don't know who's real and who's not real. I've got some real close friends I can count on one hand.
Yeah, we all have.
But I would say no, it was my mum's passing what's changed me and took me to where I am now and give me what I've got. It was my mum's. My mum changed my whole life at the end.
Really?
I mean, I got to a stage where I wasn't really going anywhere. I've got to be truthful. I was always still enjoying life, partying. I was getting involved in the odd skullduggery here and there, but nothing like major, nothing which would have any victims or anything, or involved. I don't agree with drug dealing and all that. But I've always been a good money getter. I'm very lucky. That's why my mates say you can fall down a fucking shitty well and can't smell in the creed. You're just like, you're very lucky. You walk into things. I mean, I've met people and friends, and they just, I was in Harvey Nichols one day talking to a young black guy. He was a crypto king.
Yeah.
Ended up earning like bloody, he'd taken us out spending 100 grand a night. He was going out to spend 100 grand a night on Ace of Spades, and he was paying for Rolls Royces. So really, all these people see this lavish lifestyle and live off social media. All I say is I've got a lot of rich friends. People say, don't you worry about it. Of course I don't worry about it, please. You can check, I'm not allowed a bank account. I've got a CFAS mark, I'm not allowed a bank account. Everything I've got is through trust or is through like whatever I get paid into. Yeah. So I'm totally 100% legit, but obviously people look at me and my lifestyle, but I can say I've got a lot of rich friends. A lot of my friends are very, very wealthy people.
Tell us about the book, Born Gangster.
I was approached by a woman called Nicola Stowe who worked for the News of the World paper. She was Faces, the book, had just done a feature on me and my dad in 2008, and then John Blake was messaging me and got in touch with me through Twitter and said, would I be interested in doing my memoirs with him? And obviously then Nicola approached me through a guy called Brian Anderson, who took the photos for the book Faces, and said, would I be interested? She said she'd like to write my book for me. So we obviously got in touch with a literary agent called Andrew Lowney, and he submitted the manuscript to John Blake, and he was in love with it. He wanted it straight away, yeah. And it was a #1 bestseller in the criminal, the crime section. It was number one bestseller within 3 weeks.
What is that? Is that quite a good money earner? Would you say that's better than crime, doing the crime or doing a robbery?
No,
or?
I think Martina Cole, who's a friend of mine, she definitely makes crime pay in the books, but she's very, very successful, and she's like a sponge. She absorbs all the information and the stories people tell her. But no, she's done very, very well out of it. And I think that there's a few. I've got a lot of friends who are crime writers, but no, I've got 2 books I'm working on at the moment.
Tell me about them.
One's a revised edition of Born Gangster. I would say it's more like Born Rascal, really, because I was a little character, little fucker.
Are you going back to the youth?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go more to the youthful side, and then because John Blake always said to me, he said, "Your book Born Gangster, I want it to be like Chopper Reed's book." I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "Well, you've got 155,000 stories, Jim." He said, "So I think you could do like 30, 40 books." Right. He said, "So that I'm going to listen to John's advice, and I'm going to try and do." A book on my youth, a book on like 20s, a book on my 30s, a book on the Playboy gangster side of it, going out with all the glamorous women and bits and pieces, and all the mad parties we got up to back in the day, the 90s rave scene and all the crazy.
That would be an interesting one.
That would be an interesting one, yeah. And then obviously my dad's book, The Real Deal, which is basically an insight into my dad by friends of his. Like he's got 3 good friends who are still alive, who tell their story about my dad in their words and put it into that book, which Julie Shaw's doing with me.
Well, I'm going to say something on camera now in front of everyone. I want a copy of that book, because I want to read this one. I want the first one. What, you heard it all in
the first copy.
Yeah?
But no, so it's interesting. And obviously I've got a few other little projects I'm working on. I'm doing hopefully doing a documentary with Netflix on my dad.
Right, yeah.
So that's very interesting. But I'm in talks with Sir Brian Cox, who's obviously very big in HBO's Succession in America.
He was on the Tom Hardy one when he was in prison, wasn't he?
And he also played the villain in X-Men. You know
what's the name of that film? I love that film.
I don't watch.
What the one Tom Hardy in? Oh, I think that was written by the woman you just mentioned.
Martina Cole.
Yeah. The Take. That's it. That was the one.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Sir Brian is a very good friend of my dad's.
That's Brian. That's who you're
talking about.
And obviously,
my dad. Obviously, Roger Daltrey, Ronnie Wood. They're all very good friends of my dad. My dad knew everybody. So obviously, he was. Harry Redknapp was a friend of my dad's. So that's why I'm doing that podcast in a few weeks. My dad just knew everybody. He was like the David Beckham of his day in the boxing. So he sort of. I remember my dad. He was like, obviously he won his first 20 fights. Undefeated. 14 of his first 14 fights were 12 by a knockout, which went into the Guinness Book of Records at that time.
Did it really?
But my dad was, he ended up going corrupt under Mickey Duff.
I remember Mickey Duff.
Because what happened was, when my dad was young, Benny Huntman, who was a very, very big time, he was like friends with all the Saudi royal family, and he was very like sly, bit shit, very cheesy, but he was partners with the American mafia boss, Meyer Lansky. So that was my dad's American promoter. But basically, obviously, when Freddie Mills was my dad's promoter, the one who got shot, my dad was the #1 suspect because of Benny Huntman, and that was in the 60s. They was trying to take over the London casinos.
Blimey, yeah.
And Freddie Mills had been opening his mouth up or something, and he ended up getting shot, and they said it was to do with Ronnie Craig. There was a rifle in the car, wasn't there? Yeah. But my dad was a suspect in that, and obviously a few high-profile sort of things, which obviously would be revealed in the book, and obviously we can talk maybe at a later stage. But no, then my dad started going okay under Mickey Duff. My dad said I was fighting somebody, 21st fight, I was getting 15 quid. He said, it's still a lot of money those days. He said, this is in the 50s. He said, but Mickey Duff said, Jim, he said, look, no one wants to come to your fights. You're knocking them out, you're winning every fight. He said, if you go down tonight in the 3rd round, he said, or whatever, he said, I will give you 175 quid. My dad thought, my dad said to me at the time, that night, my dad said, I was on a date with Joan Collins that night, son, and going out with Richard Attenborough. So Richard Attenborough was a good friend of my dad's. So then my dad said, I was going out with all the high society. He said, and he said, that would have been like, he said, I could be like the king of the castle. He said, so obviously I went down in the 3rd back, and they went, no, there's a lockdown. He said, so then I just started playing at boxing. He said, it wasn't for me. He said, 20 fights, and I wasn't even given like proper titles and that. And then he had a Southern Area title where he was kept. they'd done a fast count, and then the guy was took out on a stretcher. So my dad saw there's a lot of flaws in boxing, and there always, even to this day, there is, and it's always been
flaws in everything.
Yeah, controversy,
controversy,
everything. But my dad, Henry Cooper writes about my dad knocking him all around the ring in his autobiography. My dad had a great life, great reputation, and to live in that man's shadow has been the hardest thing I've ever done. I think I've fought all that time in his shadow.
So what can we expect from the new book?
The new book, it's a lot of truth and honesty, and there's a lot of problems in my life which I haven't discussed with anyone, which I'm going to put into a separate book and donate all the proceeds to charity and give my little bit back. And it's something I find that it's putting your demons to bed as well, writing now. I'm enjoying doing it myself, where before I'd get someone else to write it, and I've been spending a lot of time by myself writing, and I enjoy it.
It's your own time.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I've done a little bit of script writing before.
Don't get me wrong, I've got a beautiful girlfriend. She's absolutely amazing, Paige. She's beautiful. We've had a beautiful holiday to Mexico this year. She lives in London, so we see each other every other weekend.
Nice.
But she's a little box of tricks, but no, she keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, they all do, don't they?
She does.
Believe me,
She's
I've got
beautiful.
one ringing now, as it happens.
No, we have some lovely little adventures together. We go around the country, making little memories together.
Talking about memories, going back to how it was and like it is now, what's the difference between then and now?
I think I think it was a lot better then. I think now it's
a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot easier. Now it's a different world. Or is it just we're getting older?
We're getting older, yeah. I mean, yeah, that is one way. I mean, you just want to have a bit more of an easier life, and you've got the youngsters coming up through the ranks now, and they're a little bit more brutal than what we were, I think.
Yeah, a lot more,
ferocious.
savage, a lot more savage.
There's no morals about it anymore.
No, that's I don't tend to go to these sort of places. I tend to drink in nice establishments. I like going out for nice meals, nice bottles of wine with friends. I go back to a lot of house parties where there's good people. But no, I like travelling now, seeing the world, going out tonight. I'm off to Monaco soon for a nice long weekend.
Nice.
Then go to Paris. Then go to Lapland. I just want to
do good things.
Yeah, make memories. Because when you die, it's the one good thing you can take with you.
You can't do that stuff when you're in prison either, can
Listen,
you?
I've got everything I want. I've got a beautiful home. I've got a lovely car. I've got lots of opportunities there. I've just inherited a small fortune, which I'll get soon, and life's good.
Have you got any messages for the younger generation that are coming up through the ranks today? What are your words of advice?
Watch Andrew Tate and learn. I watch this man with great passion, and he's a very, very, very clever individual. He's been classed as a dangerous organisation on certain websites because his voice has become so popular and powerful.
Yeah, he's exploded.
He's exploded, but he's a very, 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 very strong character, and I've got a lot. I spend an awful time watching him.
Really?
Yeah, and I take a lot of note of him as well.
Well,
so I would tell youngsters to watch it. I think mentally, physically, about life, about how you conduct your life, about 9-to-5ers, and about you've got to step out of the matrix. It's a very hard thing to comprehend. If you're not that way inclined, you're not going to know that. But I don't want to work 9 to 5. I will make memories. And my life, I've always lived like that. I've had the best life. If I drop dead now of a heart attack, I've had the best life anyone could have.
I feel the same.
I can have a smile like that. I've got the most beautiful girlfriend. Listen, there's no one got a more beautiful girlfriend than me. I have a better life than anybody else, and I enjoy it. And the thing is, when the time's up, time's up.
Yeah,
and I've had a better life than anyone.
You never know when that's going to be either.
Of course you could. It could be in 10 minutes.
Where can people find you on social media?
I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And obviously I'm doing lots more podcasts. So I'm going to be putting myself right out there now and drumming up the publicity for my futures, like with books.
When you look back at your life, do you have any regrets? No,
it's like Frank Sinatra's song, isn't it? I did it my way. And there's a lot of mistakes there, but the memories make up for the mistakes. I've had some very, very good things in life. I've had some bad things, but as I said, one day I remember a prison officer, Mr. Calloway, lovely officer who was at Highdown. He opened the flat one day. He went, "Do you know something, Jimmy? You're always smiling." I said, "Mr. Calloway," he said, "But why would you be smiling?" I said, "Because I sit and think of all the good things I've done." And he said, "Do you know something?" And we've remained friends to this day. Really lovely prison officer he was, and I did. That got me through the bad things because I've had such good times and such adventures, what people could only dream about.
Yeah.
It really is. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't say on here, and there's a lot.
Of course.
But obviously, I've had some. I've been very, very lucky in life, and had some great opportunities. And I've literally I've been out with lots of celebrities. I I was engaged to marry Rachel Roberts, who was the main character in Grange Hill.
Grange Hill, yeah, I remember
she
her,
played Justine Dean. She was like,
yeah.
I was a kid, I used to think, oh, I
Big
loved
up
her.
on that one,
and then
mate,
I ended up getting engaged to her in St Lucia, and like she was going to be my wife. And then it was like, man, her dad got murdered the day she started Grange Hill, and her dad always used to talk about me, my dad to her. And it was like and she used to work in a cafe warehouse in Bromley, and I always used to go past and make out I was buying a phone. And eventually we just got together, and it was like we were together for a good few years, and it was like she was the proper love of my life. But this I've been out with a lot more celebrities, and I've had some fantastic, great times.
Sounds like
Partied
it
with the
as well.
Kardashians in Dominican Republic. I've been all around the world. I've had some proper adventures in life.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck, and I'll
Thanks
tell you
very
good
much.
luck with the new
Cheers,
book,
Roy,
and I
thanks very
want a
much.
copy of that
God
book,
bless.
all right?
God bless.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers, buddy.
Jimmy.
Thank you.